So Lechem Rabotai, Mishnah Yomi continues in the second parak of Challah at Mishnah Hay. Hamafrish chalato kemach. Someone who separates, well, he tries to separate. We're going to see it doesn't work. He tries to separate his challah from the kemach, from the flour, the dry flour not yet mixed with water. Eino challah. That's not challah at all. It's not challah until it is a dough, a flour and water together. V'gozel biad kohen. And if he gives it to the kohen, it doesn't really belong to the kohen. It's as if it's a stolen item. Now the Mishnah lists some more consequences of this mistake. Ha'isa otzma chayavet b'challah. The original dough, now the original guy who gave the challah just from dried flour without it being a dough yet, so when he goes and makes the rest of that into a dough, well, that dough is chayiv in challah. He didn't actually take challah. Ve'akemach, and the flour he gave, im yesh bo shiur, if it's the right amount, chayiv b'challah. It itself is chayiv in challah. He thought it was challah. It wasn't challah at all, so it's chayiv in challah. And the original dough it came from wasn't a dough yet, so it's chayiv in challah too. Ve'asura lezarim. Now this is an interesting thing, and even though it's not really challah, a non-Kohen, zar in this context means a non-Kohen, not just a regular stranger. Even though it's not really challah, it's given to a Kohen. It's sort of on a rabbinical level, takes on a status where no one else should eat it. Divrei Rabbi Yoshua. But that last part, that it now becomes a quasi challah derabanan and it's asar dezarim to nankanim, that's only Rabbi Yoshua. Amru lo, the other sages disagreed, and they told him, Maise ukefosha zoken zar. They said there was an event, a true event, where a zoken, meaning a sage, zoken means an elderly person. He has a zakan, he has a white beard, he's elderly, he knows what he's doing, he's educated. He went and grabbed the flour, it was just flour, not dough, from a Kohen, and he went ahead and he ate it. So he did this to prove to other people that flour given to a Kohen as challah is not a challah, doesn't belong to the Kohen, and has no stringency that it can't be eaten by non-Kohanim. So the sage went ahead and did that in front of people to show them. Amar lahem, Rabbi Yeshua said back to them, Af hu kil latzmo. He made a mistake for himself, v'tiken lacherim. Even though he was trying to demonstrate the right halacha to other people, he did a mistake himself by eating something that, as a rabbinical stringency, is forbidden to non-Kohanim. Here we are, Mishnah Vav. This is a famous Mishnah we've referred to before, but the shiur, the minimal amount for challah. Chameshit revoyim kemach chayavim b'challah. 5 quarters of flour is obligated in challah. So these quarters we're talking about are a quarter of a kav. So 5/4 of a kav, or 1 1/4 kabin, that's how much flour is chayev in challah. We referenced there's a bit of a discussion among later sources what exactly this is, but everyone agrees, practically everyone agrees, put it that way, that 5 pounds of flour would definitely be chayev in challah deraisa. There are a variety of opinions in the poskim also about separating challah without a bracha. So practically everyone says 5 pounds, we separate challah with a bracha. Some people say 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds, 3 2/3 pounds would be obligated for challah, but without the bracha. So consult your local Orthodox posek and challah bakery. So the Mishnah continues, Hem usuran v'suban or morsanan chameshet revayim. So them, meaning the flour themselves. Now the flour is the ground up part of the wheat germ, but that wheat germ is inside of multiple layers, multiple klipot, layers of protective coating. So what the Mishnah is telling us is it's not just the ground flour itself, the kemach itself, but it's also sourdough, if he made some of it into sourdough, and the suban is the thinner bran, right on the outside of the wheat germ. Morsanan is the famous morsan, is the coarse outer husk of the wheat, which is not, we saw before, that's usually used in the dog food. Chameshet refine, but all of it counts towards the 5 quarters. That's if he's had it all included. Chayavin, that's chayav in challah. But the Mishnah says nitel morsanan, if he took out the coarse bran, and this was normally done, they would normally take it out and not put that in the bread unless they're baking for the dogs. It's like pearls to swine, but here it's like bran to dogs. Okay, maybe similar concept. Mitochan v'chazer l'tochan. So what happened was he took the bran out, the outer bran, from this amount. And then he said, "Oh my goodness, I don't have five revayim anymore." So he threw it back in. So it's actually potter because once you take out the morsan, the coarse bran, it's no longer expected to be added back in unless you're making dog food, not people food. So it doesn't count as for the shiur of challah once you take it out. So the moral of the story perhaps is plan ahead if you're making human food or dog food. Shkoyach rabosai, be well.